Hey my immortal nerds, it's time for an update on our Barbarian. I know you were waiting for this, so let's talk about new essences, meta PvP builds, all the heal, leech and damage reduction mechanics, latest tricks and bugs that might help you. Funny stuff, believe me. The new Starcraft essences and updated PVE, dungeon and all-round builds to make you the best barbarians out there. A lot of stuff is waiting for you in Diablo Immortal, so let's play. The new stuff is out there since 2 weeks, so we all had time now to test the new essences. And on a short summary, it wasn't the biggest drop for us barbarians. But there's still nice stuff that will help you on current builds and might be useful in the future. We have the chains with that new chest and the new pants that let you link yourself to an ally, a minion or player, and delivers burst when each of you receives damage. That can be combined with the pants that let your enemies bleed, so the pants itself is very interesting. Next, the HOTA with the new main hand and offhand that lets you summon an ancient that fights for you, has HP, damage itself and releases bursts that reduces the damage of enemies around him. Plus the main hand that lets you heal 8% whenever that HOTA is dealing damage to an enemy that bleeds. Issue with that stuff is that the chains itself do not follow the text, they just release a 0.5 second burst when each of you receives damage. Not like from every damage source, just overall. So the damage is far lower than you might expect. And on the next point, your HOTA, so your minion, it dies really fast when it hits real PvP enemies. For PvE, overall, that stuff is honestly totally useless. Next we have our new tank mechanics with the demoralized helmet that releases a heal burst around you and damages enemies, and the new Wrath of the Berserker shoulder that gives damage reduction to you and your allies. So a little bit less than the kettle before, but for all of your allies around you. So even if all of that is not directly delivering that new big PvE build, it's really not that good, but for some of the essences we have a use that we will look on later on in the PvE builds. For now, the PvP stuff might be really good. Let's check out the PvP tank. So we all know there is a very strong meta currently for PvP, but we should still look at other purposes for our Barbarian. In this case we're looking at an idle sitter. So this build I'm going to show you is a PvP build. It's a tank build that's focusing around the idle and just pushing the idle, like the druid build from the last season. It's really nice. We start, or how does it work? We start with the demo stack. Means we are using the new helmet, the Gilded Hunter, for the heal. We combine it with the two essences on the main and offhand, the Burden of the Nothingness and the Tundra Burr, to reduce the enemy's damage, because we want to be tanky as fuck, and this stuff all stacks. So next we combine it with the Wrath. The helmet splitter gives us a damage reduction, and we can use the new shoulder or the kettle as you like to give another damage reduction. So overall we have a lot of damage reduction in there. As we do not deal real damage, so we're just sitting there, try to survive, try to help our allies to kill the enemies, we need some passive damage to at least do something. And while we are firing that demo helmet frequently, every 2 seconds or something, we can use the Carnage Call as a main hand to at least do some AoE passive damage with our high HP that we as Barbarians have. And we combine it with some gem damage. The roiling is really nice. The golden works pretty good because fire damage plus the wind damage has a nice passive gem damage, and Void Spark, for example, or anything that is delivering dots or chain damage. That's really good to improve our position, to at least damage the enemy while we're holding the idol. So in the build overview you can see how we utilize all that demoralized essences with the helmet, offhand, main hands. It's a lot of demoralized stuff in there. The Wrath, helmet splitter and Hans Claim for the additional damage reduction. And then we go for the chains. Shackled Fate and Scale Sounder is a pretty nice combination because knockback stops the enemy from delivering damage. It's a really good mechanic. And you have a Scale Sounder to improve the damage again on the enemies. We are full support build so that your allies can actually hurt them. It works good in combination with the Paragon of the Brawler. Yes, we do not take full use of the damage reduction, but the frequent shield is just perfect. And with the specialization of the Harvest Shield, we have a good tankiness. Tankiness means we need a 4-piece mount banks. That shield is really big and helps us. 2-piece Vithos to prolong our effects, and 2-piece Baron to prolong the damage reduction of the enemy so that they are getting that debuff for a longer duration of time. Skills clearly Wrath, Undying, Chains and Demoralize. Undying now not with the new Undying Pants because we want to stay alive as long as possible. We take the more frequently Undying for seconds, that helps us more. Gems, Frozen Heart and the Spiteful is really important for our tankiness, and then the passive damage gems, whatever you have. One thing that is pretty cool with that build is the Demo Slow Terror Affix. This one helps you pretty good. It has a very high range, and every time you fire your Demoralized Helmet for the heal, all the enemies around you in a very large range get slowed for a high percentage. So take at least 2 of them, it helps your team a lot. The question is, why is this tank build working? Is all the stuff stacking or not? So thanks Bam Bam, a Diablo Immortal player on my server that is really invested into the game. Thank you very much for making this little analysis that I will show you now. It's a nice thing for the new essences where you can see if the stuff stacks or not. So especially the new chains are a big disappointment. When you equip them, you get that 20% damage reduction when you're close to your linked ally. So when you check in the case 6, 7 and 8 where we tested it in combination with other damage reduction essences, we see it is not stacking with the stuff. It does not stack with any of the other damage reductions, so that's pretty crap. On the other hand, the new Wrath Shoulder, they are stacking pretty good. So when you have the 2 demo offhand and main hand equipped, the Wrath main essence to give you that 30% damage reduction and the new shoulder, you can, when you combine all of them, get to a nearly 65% damage reduction. You only receive 35% of the damage. This is pretty nice to get into a tank build. It's a cool thing. Thank you again, Bam Bam, for this analysis. And yeah, hopefully that helps you guys out there to find your best tankiness. So this tank build is cool. It's a nice addition to our stack of builds. Honestly, it is still not there where the current cleave meta hits. The current cleave meta hits very hard. It heals so much and so good and makes you really tanky with that. So yes, you can play this tank build. It's nice, it's working, but the cleave build is still stronger. So hopefully they will give us some essences to support this tank role even more in the future to make it a nice build. But let's look at the current meta and what you can do currently to get to your best PvP result. I will give you a damage core idea of this current meta, and then we go into 3 variants that you can choose whenever you start a game. It means that you analyze the enemy, that you maybe know some players already because you are frequently going into PvP, and then you can decide if you have a Whale Crusader, Whale Mage, Whale whatever, you can check which combination might work out best for you then. If you have no idea of that stuff, check the build overview. It's the base idea of this build that works all of the time, so you can directly skip to that. The damage core is of course the Exalted Demise, the new Undying, the Mortal Resolve and the Armory Clutch. So the cleave combination where you need at least 2 of the passive affix that reduces the cooldown on the cleave to make it work properly. This is the core of this build, and then we go into variants. This means you can now check if your enemy is like a crusader. You can go with the skull mod on the shoulder to improve your damage even more, and you can go to the spot tusk. It works pretty nice. You can just switch in the demoralize and go with your cleave, demo hit once the crusaders are in their immunity, and you can actually help your team. Variant 2 is when you go with this mages or necros, where you need to pull them, need to cut off the dots on you. You have the Sunder variant. It's a very frequently played variant where you go with the Briar Creeper on the shoulder and the Steel Gospel on the chest to do your dashes. And every time you dash, every 6 seconds, you kill every negative effect on you. Every dot, everything gets cancelled. So this is why it's pretty tanky and cool to do this. And you can catch all those small HP guys really, really good. Variant 3 is when you're playing versus druids or other barbarians. There's a nice variant where you can say, I go into a double knockback machine. You can pick the Silver Flash shoulders for the cleave. That gives you every 2 seconds a knockback versus players. And then you go with the Shackled Fate and equip the chains. That gives you an additional knockback. So as I said, we will look at the base variant of this build. For that, this build overview, where you see I called it the Cleave Leech Bully, because you all have discovered those barbarians that will just not die, getting a lot of heal from just hitting and dealing a huge amount of damage. They are really bullies, even if they're, or especially when they are whales. It's annoying as hell. So the base build says that you can go with a Wrath, where you have your Helmet Splitter, damage reduction, and the Kruber's Sneer for crit chance increase, which is really important for that whole heal mechanic. So when you hit hard with the crit, you heal good. So healing, of course, from the Armory Clutch in combination with the Mortal Resolve. You need your Exalted Demise to get your HP low and start that whole cleave mechanic. And then you have the Skullmer to boost that damage even further. With the Shackled Fate, you can pull enemies to you. So what you do is you stand in the idle, pull enemies and club them to death while permanently healing. This build works so nice when you have a PvP mode with the creeps in it that you can just kill. You heal like crazy on them. Okay, what you do, you combine it with the Gladiator. It works best because if you go down someone, the cheat death will help you. You have shields on there as well. For the damage, for the gems, you go with damage gems. Spiteful is always good. It helps you a lot to stay alive even longer. But then you just focus on damage. Roiling's really nice for additional crit. The new Leviathan is really good because it hurts like hell. The Hound Coil is nice. And because you're doing primary attacks like the Gloom Cask is a nice addition as well. The sets 4-piece Blood set and 4-piece Vithus are essential. Vithus because we don't have any additional attack speed. Yes, some go with the attack speed helmet, I get that. The crit works just a bit better. And with the Vithus you get your 30% attack speed. It's a nice thing. For the offhand Ardent Fervor, that's why people pick Ardent Fervor, because it passively procs the 4-piece Vithus. Even if it does not give you the attack speed from the Ardent Fervor, it procs the 4-piece Vithus. That's why people pick it. And the 4-piece Blood will just finish off the guys for you. Important, take the 2 Cleave cooldown affixes. That's really important. And whenever you get it, 2-piece of Wrath AoE affix is nice as well to get more damage out. But with the last patch, something changed. So I promised you we will have a look at the Starcraft items, and this will influence the current meta a teeny tiny bit, but it's really cool. Okay, what do you get? So we have that new Elder Rifts that you can run, and randomly you can get 3 items out of that Elder Rift. The Swamp Bearer, the Dismantler, and the Storm Sign. Those 3 essences cannot be taken into the next difficulty. That's one thing, so it's just for this season and then they are gone. And they have a skill that will replace your essence. So you do not get it in addition, it will replace the current essence you have equipped. Overall, that means they are totally useless, because honestly, every essence you can use has a combination effect. So what the hell, it's like totally not a good idea. But as you have just seen on the build overview, we have a dead slot, a main hand that is not used. So you can use one of those 3 essences for that dead main hand slot, and it will actually help you. Let's have a look at the 3 items. We have the Swarm Bearer that gets those circlings out there, 5 of them. The cooldown is not like 5 seconds, it's kind of wrong, it's like more like 30 seconds. Then you have the Dismantler. It has a big AoE with 100k damage hit, nice thing, but every 40 seconds, so not that good as well. Sounds like a 6-piece Flagellant or what was it, a Gloomsprite ultimate, but honestly not a good idea. Storm Sign, on the other hand, that one is pretty good. It means that you have a 15% chance whenever you deal damage to produce a storm on a specific location that deals 10k damage and is slowing the enemy every 0.5 seconds for 4 seconds. So you get 8 hits out of it, kind of. It's really good because our build, our current meta, is missing a constant slow. So this thing has a cooldown of like 10 seconds or something, and it can proc regularly in the game with that 50% chance. So use that. As you can see now, I will replace it in the build overview, and hopefully you guys loot this item, get this into the place. It will improve the current meta slightly. Okay, and now we will come to something really funny. I don't know what they did, honestly. It's kind of spaghetti code, I don't know, but they kind of messed it up that the AI BARB is not active while you're doing other stuff. So we kind of have a revival of the AI BARB. Let's see how long it will stick. And honestly, there's something to this build I'm going to show you now that you need to check out first. I don't know why, but they removed it from the server side and put it into the client side. So every device is working a bit different here. I so far discovered 2 different ways of working. For some it does work, for some it does not. So you can test it out on your device. If it works, it's nice, you can play it. I think it's a pretty cool build. If it's not working, yeah, shit happens. So what we do is we combine the whole Armory Clutch experience with the Terror Unburdened. That's the main idea. What you need to do so that it's gonna work for you, if it's gonna work for you, you need to follow the rotation. The rotation is important. You need to start with the Undying Rage to lower your HP, then do the Cleave, of course, to get the full bonus, and then you hit the Demoralize to go into that big guy mode. Once you do this, you profit from all of the positive effects, and they get not cancelled while you're doing your regular Cleave attacks. So you have the 30% damage reduction, so same as from Wrath in the current meta, you get it now from the AI BARB, but you have a full immunity to all CC. If you hit or not, no one can stop you. You have a 20% damage reduction on the enemies from the aura of the Demoralize. You have the max movement speed, means you can go really fast from the spawn to the enemies and moving around there. And you have a full damage, life leech, and all of that mechanic from the Cleave. So it's a pretty cool thing, but yeah, it's working a bit messy, so you have to follow the click rotation. So check the overview. You have the Terror Unburdened, the Burden of the Nothingness for the damage reduction, and we go with the Carnage Call. Because you do not actually hit with the Demoralized, you cannot take a benefit of the crit or damage reduction effects of the main hands, but you can go with that passive AoE. Really nice. You can combine it even further with the Thunder Dash, so the Briar Creep or the Steel Gospel, that makes you even tankier and you can pull enemies together. You are moving around really fast with that dash as a movement speed. And then we go with the Cleave, with the Armory Clutch, the Mortal Resolve and the Exalted Demise as that additional damage core mechanic. The rest stays nearly the same. Go with the Warden. I would suggest here to make you even tankier. You have a bit less damage because of the missing shoulder, so it's more like on the tank side of that build variation. But for the gems, of course, stick with that pure damage thing. As we have this the Briar Creeper, so the Thunder Dash, we can go now with the 4-piece Gloom, because you're missing a crit chance increase with that helmet. So 4-piece Gloom is helping your crit chance to actually work good. And then you have a 2-piece Vithus and a 2-piece Blood to increase your damage and your beneficial effects. Again, the 2-piece Cleave cooldown effects is a must here to streamline your activation of Undying, Cleave and Demoralize. And honestly guys, what works with the Cleave might work with other stuff too. Check out this wall. Pretty messy, but funny. That was a lot of talk about PvP, so let's get to PvE now. How does our PvE build experience change with the new essences, and is there something you should consider? Of course, yes. Otherwise I wouldn't make this video. But first, something you might need to know. Many of you do already, but many not, and I checked it again. So the damage stack, when we talk about Whirlwind, bleed mechanics and everything, of the Bloodsazer and the Exalted Demise, please do not stack them. They do not stack. They are not working. Those two essences cannot be combined. You need to find something else. It's with that 100% damage cap container or something, or they just hard-coded them so that they do not work. I don't know, but you have to do something else. Looking at the current PvE world combinations, there are some. I think the Freeze Whirl build is still, with that Cleave axis around you, is still very popular. It's a good build, still a very nice damage output. The Whirl build I showed you last time is working nice as well with the Exalted Demise. Today I want to show you an alternative, and in my test I had the best currently damage results, or at least similar to the Freeze mechanic. But it's working really nicely. So what we do is here we change our source of bleed. We go away from the Oxhorns and go to that new Pants the Ravager's Walk to get our bleed source. Of course, that means we're going to chains. Next change is that we are changing with the chains. We need the chest, so we're going away from our damage source from the 5 fresh claws, which means 30% damage increase. We go now over to the Weight of War. That is a 24% crit chance increase, but not just for you, for the whole team. So you're getting a supportive guy now, you're being the nice guy Barb. That changes a 30% damage to a 24% crit, which is a really, really good trait. So with that, this is a build you can play and have really good results. We have the Scrum Skull helmet, which is not improving the attack speed of the Whirlwind. That's not possible, but it is helping you with a quicker chains and with that a quicker pull to you of enemies. It's benefiting this build really good. Then we have the Ravage Walk with the Shackled Fate to pull enemies and deliver the bleed. Weight of War, Reel of Cutters to go to that attack speed and crit chance increase. And then we have the Roar of the Persuasion or the Bloodsazer. You can play both. Bloodsazer if you're more tanky, if you can take it. Roar of Persuasion if you want to go more into an one for all wall build, because you have that nice life leech. Both are working pretty good. And the Falling Thunder because we have a bleed and we can utilize those 28.5% damage. And then we have a dead main hand again. So as I explained with the Starcraft essences, the Storm Sign is working pretty good here as well. You get a nice slow, regular slow, especially on bosses you get it most of the time, where it's not slowing definitely, but you get an additional damage. So it's a good thing. You have to, for the sets, go with the 4-piece seat. I know that you can pick a 4-piece blood, but it's a fake damage. Please go with the seat. It helps you to clear dungeons faster. 2-piece Withus, 2-piece blood for additional damage. That's good. The Harbinger is really nice because you can push your crit chance here even more. If you don't go with that, you have some alternatives, but for that bleed, honestly, it's all not working pretty good. For the gems, the blood is really nice. It's a really good gem because it gives you additional crit damage and another blood, another bleed, which is good for the build. And then we have damage gems. Everything that deals damage or gives you crit chance is good. The Colossus is really nice because of that range. You get bigger, you get faster. It's a must-have for this build and honestly for all PvE builds. So with that, one thing, when you want to go into a nice PvE focused build for that WHIRL variant, you need a 4/4 WHIRL range affix if you can to deliver maximum damage. This is kind of a must-have to be #1 damage dealer. Why do I say this? Because many of you are focusing on PvP, and there you have currently meta of a primary attack. That means your traits on the familiars, your passives, your reforges, your, I don't know, charms and everything is focused on primary attack damage, your legendary affixes and all of that stuff. So if you can go for PvE wall skill damage based build, do it if you have the time, the grind or anything. But if you cannot, I will show you now a PvE build focused on primary attack damage that is working pretty good as well. So this build goes again with the Armory Clutch, of course, because it's our highest damage skill that we have currently with the Cleave. We need the Exalted Demise to utilize it with that HP reduction, and then we go with the Trembling. The Trembling brings you the sprint movement speed that you get only from the sprint, but you can skip now that skill and you have a free skill slot. So it's a really nice thing. And now we combine it with the mob clear mechanic. And the mob clear mechanic is the flicker tone. We go back to our old HOTA builds. We use the Stonefall and the Renitent Rage to boost that flicker tone damage. Flicker tone damage means that you need to do hits to charge it up. How do we charge it up? With the Wrath. So the Wrath Bergbreaker that deals a passive, retaliate damage, and the Nature's Temper that is triggering that retaliation of the Bergbreaker and deals an additional hit. So every time we do our Cleave attack, our HOTA gets full instantly. This build is an all-round build. It means you can use it for Terror Rifts, for dungeons, for Vanguard, for raids even. For all of this stuff, it's just not good if you need to be very, very fast. So open world farming or I don't know, the Abyssal or something, they need a different build. But that's nearly it. It works good in every other occasion. You're not gonna be the fastest guy with that build, let me say that, okay? You are slower because you need to primary hit. When you hit, you cannot walk. When you cannot walk, every other one can, so you stay behind, okay? So it's a build for easy, relaxing, high damage playing, where you maybe are not the fastest guy at the front all of the time. That's something you need to know when you want to go with this build. If you want to be the fastest, focus on WHIRL. WHIRL is extremely fast. So looking at the build overview, we start with the Undying Rage Essences, Trembling and Exalted Demise to give us that whole damage boost speed mechanic. We get low HP to get our Armory Clutch working, that we have the maximum primary attack range and damage. Then we combine that with the Wrath, Bergbreaker and Nature's Temper to do passive damage and charge our HOTA that we have with the Flickerton, the Stonefall boost and the Renitent Rage. That is the mechanic. The 4-piece Grace helps you a lot to charge your hammer and deal additional damage. 4-piece Vithus to have a smart attack speed, I would say, not the best, but a good one, to actually deal damage to bosses, dungeon bosses and so on. So gems, everything that deals damage, and some passive stuff like a void spark really good, helps you to charge your hammer. The blood helps you to charge your hammer, and then we need everything that deals damage again. Damage gems are the current meta. If you are looking for anything like how can I build my 5-star, go for damage gems first. You're not doing anything wrong. Then we have the slinger for the paragon to give you a crit and damage boost, because we're using a lot of skills. We are using a lot of primary skill switches, so we can go here with the fullest of damage and crit chance increasement from there. It's a really nice boost. And then we need again the 2-piece cleave cooldown affix to be effective, and every wrath affix as well helps you to deal more passive damage. So guys, this sums up the changes I see so far with the stuff from the current season. I'm really looking forward to some wizard balance updates, like I guess most of you. And of course I'm looking forward to the next major that will hopefully bring us the Warlock as a new class. By the way, a special thanks to the Blizzard Partner Program and Microsoft for helping me out with this nice Asus TUF F15 gaming notebook to join the upcoming PDR sessions regarding the Warlock. With this I will be able to get some first looks, and I will keep you updated if this little demon mage will be any harm to our barbarian tribe. Guys, thanks for sticking to the channel, and see you soon with the new builds in the battleground.